when that happened, and
That was just about 2 years ago. That's a $6,000 machine. That refurbished would go about for $3,500–4,000.
so for 8 months you were not profitable, the first 8 months.
We were never profitable in the beginning. Yeah, you
It's inflated like a ball.
Yeah, you can play. It's safe. You can play football with it. Einstein, amazing guy.
What would you talk about?
Afraid as a ghost when you're not prepared.
Okay, subscribers. If you are looking for a sales position, office management, hello everyone, welcome to the Game Changers YouTube channel. Today we are meeting one of the best entrepreneurs in Dubai. His name is Sassan. He's the owner and the founder of German Imaging Technology, one of the top companies in Dubai and the UAE. Sassan, thank you very much for hosting us today. We are very happy that you found the time for us in your busy schedule, and we want to share your experience with our viewers and audience so that also get inspired by your story and learn from you how to become successful like you, how to maybe get the same level of success in terms of business, how you could do it. And you are a role model for young generation now, because many people, they want to start business but they lack knowledge sometimes, or they don't have a person who they can come to and ask, can you please help me, can you please teach me, maybe you can give me advice, because you have so much of business experience now. So thank you very much, and let me ask you several questions about your story, how you started, about business, and etc.
Cool, welcome, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, and glad always to share.
Thank you so
I
much.
just to start it off, I love supporting entrepreneurs, whoever starts, so I also mentor at times. And just came back from Uganda, where we had the mission to help about 50 young entrepreneurs kickstart their businesses. It was a wonderful mission that we had in Kampala, a 2-day event where we did coachings together with my agile coach and direct support to entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. At the end, we are all in one big family, so it's always a pleasure to help.
All right, Sassan, so can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and about your business, just as an introduction?
Myself, I'm a normal person. Yeah. I'm entrepreneur, and I consider myself average. Entrepreneurs are a little bit crazy sometimes, but at the end we are also normal people like everyone else. We just take a little bit more risk. I believe entrepreneurship comes from the word undertaking, doing, in French, in the origins of it. So that's the biggest difference, I think, between entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs. We just, it's not just about the idea, we actually translate the idea, we take the risk, we take that step forward.
How do you yourself differentiate the difference between entrepreneur and businessman? Where is the difference? When an entrepreneur becomes a businessman, what do you think?
Well, I mean, you can go into theory. Some say entrepreneurs set up businesses, don't manage them. Businessman is maybe the one that owns and manages one business. I'm not quite sure about the technicalities. Yeah. But there's a big difference between being self-employed and employed. There's a huge mindset difference. Yeah. Biggest difference is the ability to have probably a vision, an idea, but the vision and idea needs to be translated into reality. And that's probably the biggest difference, because many people have ideas, great ideas, but the willingness to take all those risks, the passion that you need, the perseverance that you need to succeed over a long time. So you need to be extremely probably passionate about what you do, driven by a bigger purpose, just as we have at German Imaging Technologies. Otherwise it's a really rough patch. So that ability to take the risk and follow through with your vision and deeper purpose, intrinsic purpose.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your story, how you came to the UAE, what made you come to the UAE, why out of so many countries you decided to come to the UAE and start your business here.
The UAE, Dubai particularly, it had always a very good vibe about it. Dubai was so vibrant, and I still remember I was practicing as an attorney at the time, but my first trip to the UAE was 1996. So there was not much around here. Right. And you know, the city was still very young. I think the population was about 500,000. But something impressed me when I landed the first time. I had completed a legal case for a client that was here and was successful, so they invited me over as a thank you token, and I arrived, and I was, you know, taken by the atmosphere the city had. You felt there's something happening. You felt, you know, I fell in love with the creek and the settings there, the DAOs, the trade happening, people going and coming. So it really excited me to be part of a city that you felt the pulse. You know, it wants to grow, it wants to push out, and who would have known in 1996 that Dubai would become what it is, except its ruler maybe had the vision for sure, but as other people who visit, we wouldn't know how far it would go. But yeah, it was exciting.
In 1996, when you were this young gentleman who just for the first time arrived to Dubai, did you ever have an idea that after 20 years you will be top 15 Dubai SMEs, you will grow so much and you will export to so many countries, and that you will manage 100 people? Do you have such an idea, or you didn't?
I think the dream and the vision was always there, but it was not, I wouldn't say it's like quantified. It was not, I will have X number of people, X number of offices, but I thoroughly believe we could always be the number one in this region in what we do. You know, be the number one document printing solutions provider in the Middle East Africa. The kind of business that we do, the remanufacturing of toner cartridges, really didn't exist in this part of the world. We had still funny instances when we started the company that even our business was not registrable in the category. The category did not exist. Right. Nobody knew what it is. Yeah. Part of circular economy, we did 20 years ago circular economy. It is now that, you know, you will see various environmental associations and groups talking about circular economy, almost 20 years after we started circular economy. So it was a very, you know, adventurous path to start the business here.
Get the #1 step-by-step guide on how to become your own boss in the UAE. You will learn how to start your own business in the UAE. Just click the link in the description below this video and follow this link. This is your time to start. Click the link below this video. Bam!
So welcome to the factory.
Factory itself. Yeah. So this is where the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens. So we have different units. We have the remanufacture of the toner cartridges happening. And we have this unit that works with the refurbishment of these copiers. Right. So we started this business about 2 years ago, and that's a massive business. So each of these copiers weighs about 200 kilograms of weight. Right. And if nobody would extend their life, they would be just thrown in the bin. Plastics, metals, cadmium, all the toxic metal elements. So remanufacturing circular economy for us is very serious. So we actually extend their lives by about 5 to 6 years. We'll show you pictures downstairs. They come in damaged, broken, aged, yellow, completely dysfunctional. Yeah. And after we process these machines, you will see some models that are already ready. They will look just like brand new, ready for the client, and their life will go on for another 5, 6, 7 years. Nice. So in the other aspect of the business, we take care of the cartridges, the toner cartridges. Yeah. So in remanufacturing, in a nutshell, the empty toner cartridge will come inside. The factory will be completely dismantled and will be rebuilt from scratch on the input of new components that are required, based on what you saw in the R&D. How do we need to do it, right? All right. So we can go down. He's our operations manager and the chief coach of the company. Vijay, come say hi.
Hello. Welcome to GiT.
And this is Max.
Hi Max. Hello.
He runs the production.
Yeah. Sure.
How many people you have here?
30, 40 down here.
People here now.
We look at where it starts, inside.
Yeah.
Let's go inside and find what we can find. Oh, that's big machines. You can pull out one. These are the biggest models we make. One set of these is sold in the market at roughly the price of an old used car. So you might be paying 5,000 dirham for just 4 pieces. Yeah. Plus the drums, you're up at 8,000 dirhams. Now, when you spend 8,000 dirhams for this, right? And we come and say, our brand promise, we help you save 25% on 7,000 dirhams. How much is that? I'm not so good in headcount, but it's close to 2,000 dirhams for one set that we can help you save. Plus, you have saved the environment. You'll be using elements that otherwise would be dumped in the bin. So that's truly what we do here. The war room is just being revamped. So, and our company, we operate the OKR and Scrum management methodologies. So the quarter finished, and now the new quarter data and numbers come. So the whole room will be always full of sheets. So you have the strategy sheets you have blockage boards, you have Kaizen boards, you have current data, and then you have the Scrum board as it is used, where you have the to-do doing and daily things that we do together. These are the sprints that come up. So it's just getting ready for Sunday. So for Sunday it will be up and running again.
So you have lots of Einstein here.
Oh yeah. Einstein is everywhere.
This is your favorite physician?
Yes. Well, not only physician. Philosophy, lives. Even if you want to know anything about love, you look after Einstein. This guy is amazing. So we can go to our finance room where we have another Einstein hanging.
I have no special talent, I'm only passionately curious.
I think that's the biggest talent that anybody should keep, like whether it's entrepreneur or not, but that's a very driving force. So here we have our finance team sitting, 7, 8 people overall.
So
he's the busy guy, he's the finance manager, Imran. Ciao Imran, and he's always smiling. She's the most proactive member of our team, lively soul, very happy always, Abia, procurement. And let's move out, some people are not there.
You know, there is a prejudice that in order to start a business, you need lots of money, you need to have influential parents, you need to have influential friends. Can you tell us a little bit about your parents and how much money did you have when you come here to start your business?
So I had worked as an attorney. I came with, at the time, 500,000 dirhams. 20 years ago, that was, I don't know how much equivalent, maybe it's equivalent to 2-3 million dirhams today or something, the buying power 20 years ago. So, and I had 2 partners, so I didn't start it alone. I started with 2 partners. So
are they still with you now?
No, I bought them out over time. So now it's owned by me, and we have also a share scheme. Some of my senior staff have, you know, a stake in the company as well now. But that's how it started. So I did have some capital from my previous working time.
But this was your capital. This was not borrowed from your parents, from your friends. This was your savings, so to say, right?
My savings, yes. My savings, and so did my 2 partners. We were 3 equal partners. So we started the business with 1.5 million at the time in cash.
How was it? It's a new country. It's still developing. You're investing lots of money, and you're unsure whether it will work or not. How did you make this decision?
I'm not unsure whether it works or not. I was always sure it would work. That's the funny thing. Like even when we hit the biggest crisis of all times in the first year, I'm entirely grateful for having hit my biggest crisis of the business till date in year 1. Because it teaches you immense lesson in perseverance, in stamina, in belief, in cash flow management skills. We had to magic this business.
Let's have a look what we have here. It looks like a warehouse area. Tell us a little bit about it.
Our inventory. So here we keep our goods, the finished products and raw materials, but this is only a very, very small part of what we have. So we function already in a 3PL setup with a partnering company in DIP, Dubai Industrial Park. So there we have main warehousing, and also our component suppliers have warehousing in Jebel Ali, etc. So we keep pretty much just in time warehousing facility here. So our actual warehouse is probably 10 times larger than this outside. So that's pretty much what's in 1 week in and out goes. So here you will have the different products. So we have more than 200 different products and currently 3 brands that we manage.
Yeah.
One brand that we didn't show you, we have a special brand that runs for some legacy corporates. It's the GT budget brand. This only monochrome black and white products are produced in this for volume customers.
Yeah.
That's a special enterprise brand that we operate. And we usually keep 5,000–6,000 units of toner cartridges here in these brands. So as you can see everywhere, we have here still so many different models that we produce. As I said, it's 200 different models, but then in 3 different brands. So your SKUs can go up to 300, 400 finished product SKUs. And then we have the different setups.
So how many pieces do you have here?
On a regular basis, you will have probably about a week's consumption. We have 5,000 units here.
5,000 units.
And then we have additional warehouses that we keep outside in industrial parks and other places. So in this facility, we have only the consumption for just in time for the week.
Just for the week?
Just for the week.
Wow.
Yeah. We just had a container going out to Ivory Coast, for instance. That was over 2,000 units just left. So that happens on a continuous basis as well.
So you grew with the country. So the country grew and you grew as
Absolutely.
Can you please let me know at what point of time you decided to shift from being an attorney to being a businessman? What made this shift? Why out of it was an idea when you were still employed? Maybe it was a dream from your childhood to become a businessman. Tell us a little bit about that.
So, yeah, I did study law, and it took me probably about 8 years, 9 years, all in Germany to complete the degrees, because you have the 5 years university, then you have 2.5 years where you do the practical work as assistant judge throughout all the departments, and you go through the entire justice system. And then I worked subsequently for about 5 years as an attorney, and the career was flourishing. I had a nice corner office in Frankfurt, in one of the towers in West End Frankfurt, 19th floor. So career was extremely good as a lawyer. But it was a split-second decision for me to say, that's it. 15 years of investment into studying that and doing it. I was not stuck to continue doing that. For me, what I learned there was my ability to think, my brain power. So that stays with me wherever I go until I go from this world. But that's the value I got from that period. Why? I always wanted to impact people. I don't know why. They call me crazy, call me whatever. You have a calling in your life. Yeah. Maybe it's because of my childhood, because I'm born to a Iranian Azerbaijani father, I'm born to a German mother, and my family pretty much lost everything in the 1978-9 revolution, and I grew up in Germany. Okay. Maybe that feeling of having seen people lose whatever they had, that feeling, that deeper emotion of childhood stuck with me to want to recreate. Yeah. So from school days it started. From school days I was the class speaker, then I was the school speaker, and then it continued. And then when I was in university days, of course, young and ambitious, then I was part of the German FDP, the Federal Democratic Party. They're like the liberals, business-minded in the middle. Yeah. So I was part of the youth organization of that party. I had already a position as well in the south. I was the treasurer for Baden-Württemberg, our southern state. I did that only about 2 years. And I realized at the time that nobody wanted to impact people who was engaged in politics. They wanted to impact only themselves. They wanted a position, a scholarship, being close to be elected to the parliament. And so I resigned from that very consciously. I was about 21 years. I resigned from my position there, and I said, that's not the way forward for me. And I made myself a promise then. I think that impacted my entire life. I said, I will become an entrepreneur. And the bigger and more successful I could become as an entrepreneur, the more people I can impact. And that's the true way going forward. I can create, based on our own core value system, an environment in which individuals are respected, their dignity is respected, where we create equality, like gender equality. We are part of UNGC, United Nations Global Compact Program. In my company, we have 40% plus female. If you exclude the manufacturing unit, where we also have female, we have 60% plus female. Female makes equal or more salary in GiT, about 8% more than male. It's a coincidence. It's not because we want to pay more. It's just a coincidence that they have better and higher positions based on their abilities. I think the best in the world is Finland as a country in terms of gender equality, and we beat Finland by far in terms of what we do, for instance. We have workers that, long-term workers in GiT, they might make 4,000 or 5,000 dirhams. As a unskilled labor, the way they started in the UAE, people might make, I don't know how much they make, maybe 1,000, 2,000 plus accommodation. So our people probably make more than 2 times the average. It was visible recently, we had a job ad, within 3 hours we had 3,000 applicants. And the people who are with us, they are bound by this oneness. It's one of our things at GiT. We call it the GiT culture, the family tree. That oneness is very big for us. And so if you're one of us, you'll be with us. And our mission is to actually impact you, first of all. Impact the environment and impact you, the 2 things that matter most. That's what really drives me. And I probably guess I would not need to work since long, or could have taken it very easy. But I take up this challenge every single day because I just love what I do. And I continue loving and supporting, just like the recent mission to Uganda, where we can help others. Our purpose is impacting people, but it's also translated into our BHAG. So our BHAG is creating 10,000 jobs by 2030 and 40,000 kilograms of CO2 emission reduction by 2030. Sounds crazy. It is crazy, and it continues to be crazy, and it's an amazing crazy ride. And I guess the world needs also the crazy thinkers and dreamers and people who go after those dreams. That's Frank for us.
Right.
Frank is the typical client that we look for, the profile that we try to find. So he's hanging everywhere in all offices.
Right.
Okay, correct. You might as well. Yeah, that's was Best Business Innovation. So yeah, eight nominations, and Entrepreneur of the Year award, which was one. Business Leader was one, actually. Yeah. No. Which one is the winner?
DHL People and Culture, Customer Focus of the Year, Business Leaders of the Year, Gulf Capital Business of the Year, Sustainable Business of the Year, Business Leader of the Year, Business Innovation of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year. See?
It was Business Leader of the Year, the winner.
Yeah.
Well, you can also look at the machine. This is what we do today.
Okay.
So we refurbish also this. So that's also environmental. So not we sell these, we refurbish these, we operate these, we lease it out to clients, and then of course we make the cartridges that go inside.
Right.
Right. So that's in a nutshell our business. So we enable businesses to print, and our slogan is very simple: click, print, and we take care of the rest.
Right. Nice.
So here is the sales room at large, and that's why it's also empty, because it should be empty at this time of the day.
Yeah.
So we have some operational functions sitting here, and that's all call center and sales. I think we might be hitting a lunch break as well for them.
How many people are sitting here?
I think about 30 in this room, around 30.
Right.
I don't keep count.
Each of them has some KPI he should reach in terms of sales, or how do you manage?
Well, the OKR system runs today a little bit different, but yes, it drills down. So we have a top, let's say, annual objective, feeding the BHAG. We have a 3-year objectives, annual objectives, and then that drills down into quarterly objectives. And the quarterly, each objective is measured by key results.
Right.
And then that cascades down to each individual. So yes, each individual is managed by the OKR system, following the main objectives of the company.
Did you sleep during this time?
No. I didn't sleep this time until I listened into an interview with Bill Gates.
Right.
And it was a random, I think I was in the car and it was in the radio. And he was saying something in the lines of, I've learned in my life to turn each challenge into a virtue. And he spoke about this. And I translated that for myself very easily. I said, hang on a minute, why are you getting upset if you, and I come back to the story of those challenges later, why are you upset if you cannot pay a supplier, have a court case, have a challenge? Your definition, job definition of an entrepreneur is to solve such challenges. So once you change your mindset from, oh, this is a problem, I cannot sleep, to, hey, I'm here to solve such problems. And then you become proactive and you apply the positive energy behind it. There is no business in the world that will not hit challenges. You could be General Electric, you could be Ford, you could, the difference is that, of course, in those cases when they hit challenges like General Motors, the government will bail them out. For us, nobody will bail us out. We have immense risk operating in the legal environment that we do, because still commercial failure in this part of the world is a crime. So it is indeed very challenging to operate. But to come back to what you asked, I never had the feeling that it won't happen, because I think that's the difference. If you have the feeling it won't happen, if you have doubts, I always saw the picture, I always believed it will go, and 100% faith and belief.
How old were you when you started the business?
32, I think.
32.
32.
Do you think it was too early or too late? From your perspective now?
For me it was good. I think it was the right time. I had a good education. It took me a while. Although a good education might be sometimes a bit counterproductive to entrepreneurial risk-taking, because it makes you think too much, particularly if your educational background is law. Because lawyers typically are there to protect risk, so they're inherently risk-averse. So to combine that with a venture that needs to eventually take risk and the legal mindset that wants to prevent risk can be sometimes conflicting. But it was a good age. I don't think that, to be honest with you, I do not think there is any age limit on entrepreneurship. Most successful entrepreneurs start in the ages of 40 and 50, proven by track record that the million-dollar businesses typically are then created. So every young entrepreneur should be extremely encouraged to continue that, because your biggest success probably comes in that age category, your breakthroughs. If anybody breaks through earlier, good on them. I don't think there is a limit. I believe in Germany we had the youngest multi-millionaire entrepreneur during Helmut Kohl's times, like 30 years ago. He was a rock star and he was like 17, 18 years old and owning his own construction company and traveling with the chancellor to China. I mean, he was 18 years old. There is nothing right or wrong in entrepreneurship. There is no right or wrong. I'm not talking about legal aspects of right or wrong. There is no right or wrong idea. There is no right or wrong time. There is no right or wrong space. So if you have as an entrepreneur an idea, which is the core fundamental, and you have a driving purpose behind it, because you need that for the passion that you need to survive through all the hardships that will hit you, then you're there. Then you just take the risk and you go and you do it. That's it.
Now I want to ask you some hot seat questions. This is what I call them.
Hot seat questions?
Hot seat questions, yeah. Dubai or Frankfurt?
Exciting.
So?
Exciting.
I mean, which city?
Both are extremely exciting cities.
So out of two, which one you would select? Dubai or Frankfurt?
I am here, Dubai.
Dubai. Who is the best businessman in the history of the planet?
My hero is Elon Musk.
Why?
Extreme visionary. It's not necessarily the size of his business today, but I think he's an extreme visionary. He reads a lot, he's very, very avid, he's environmental, I'm environmental, so everything in Tesla and solar and SpaceX, all environmental what he does. And he's a visionary beyond belief. I mean, Einstein style.
Would you like to meet him in person?
Absolutely. Dream come true.
Which is the best city in the UAE?
Dubai.
What is the most unbelievable request you have ever received from a client?
Ooh, from a client?
Yeah, maybe the most strange request.
I don't remember exactly here, but I remember that one of my, because it's quite fresh, one of my export partners in Ivory Coast, he said, we do everything that is required for you and so on, and he actually called them and placed the grocery orders for milk and some other vegetables. And my partner actually did deliver the grocery and said, with a smile, we did it, but it's not part of our core business.
What is the worst ever decision that you made in business and in life? The worst ever decision that you regret now? in business?
So business, I had a very costly decision only last year. Something very stupid I did. I took three big business decisions that in their own right, each were the right decisions. I still fully stand behind them. But the way it was implemented, the lack of buy-in with my staff, with my team, and the way it was implemented as a shock therapy, we were high flying early last year. We jumped 40–50% month on month. We were like super fast selling. And of course my super fast mind had to invent three other big things. And those three other big things put my team in such shock everywhere. And boom, we dropped from May to June last year by 60% just from 1 month to month. And that decision was very costly. It cost me more than 3–4 million. Just that decision, yeah. It was expensive. Long-term wise, the worst business decisions, and I think any entrepreneur will hands down say, is people decisions. Yeah. The wrong decisions in people, we put money behind it. That we have done since January 2017, hold yourself, not according to top grading what the opportunity loss, not included. What we actually lost in cash is 2.5 million. Wrong people decisions. So for anyone who grows beyond the initial stages, after 2–3 people, look at people decisions really carefully. Today we are in a very healthy and good position. We have really people that love to be here, and we love them all, and we all love each other really. It's great, but those people decisions are the costliest. And entrepreneurs typically, they're stuck to someone and then they have a tough time. We are social too, right? So it's a tough time to fire somebody in your team. And if you have a wrong person in your team that doesn't translate exactly your thought process and the strategy downwards and doesn't make people aligned, or has even worse, its own agenda, that costs the business millions and millions in opportunity loss. And that's always our weakest decision as entrepreneurs, I think. That costs us long term.
So each salesperson has an objective for this particular month in terms of sales.
Yeah, I can show you over there. There's a call center. They have sheets on the wall, so you can see how the objectives are actually daily measured. We have after sales here. We have, hi Sana, good. So we have an inbound after sales function that post point of sale, everything goes to the team and many technicians in the field to service clients. So these sheets, like individuals, have 10–12 points that will be measured, like the number of prospects they add per week, qualitative elements, like there's some elements of obtaining certain information in the qualification, and of course revenue, closings, repeat sales, loss rates, win rates. So that's measured for each individual and cascades up to others. She's a lovely soul. She's since many years here. She manages logistics, so she's amazing. And behind her you see the new business policy. That's how we acquire business. So there's a 13-step program, how we acquire it. And over there is our export world maps, the way we look at the world. So we have 9 regions that we target. So that's set all there. So this is color toner, and that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to produce. If you look at the consistency of a toner, this is actually a powder, but it's liquid as water. You see this? You can see how it wobbles like water.
A powder that is that looks like water.
Yeah, like liquid water. This is a powder. This is not water.
It's not a water.
It's more liquid than powder.
Wow.
So when you look at this, and this is one of the reasons why no one really can produce this very easily, because the slightest irregularity, this is even more. Take this one.
Yeah.
This is not water.
This is not water. It's a powder.
It's crazy, isn't it? They call it submicron. It's 1/1000th smaller of a molecule size. So this not only allows, because this is produced by Mitsubishi, for instance. Okay. So this allows you as chemical toner to print a lot more refined and get the vibrancy of colors that you have, because with rough toner you don't get it. And also it makes it extremely difficult to remanufacture, because just a little gap, a little irregularity anywhere, and you're totally off track.
I get it.
And it's very intensive to produce, very time consuming to reproduce. So what we do is a lot on this line, and that's where it really segregates GiT from any other remanufacturer or competitor. That's the ability to produce high quality color cartridges.
Yeah.
This is it. We don't keep much packaging here. There are some packaging, but again, everything is outside. Cartonnage, raw materials, seals.
We just received today, so seal the.
What did we receive today?
This all. This.
These are empties.
Yes, sir. So this is how.
Ah.
And then the rim.
So this is how empty cartridges arrive. They might come from corporate users, government. We have in fact a agreement with Dubai Immigration now in place, and we have an agreement with Dubai Police in place because they're very concerned about the environmental impact of the products. So is this from immigration already?
Yes.
From Dubai Immigration.
Dubai Immigration.
So this is the first lot that has come from Dubai Immigration, very nicely sorted. And this, what you see in this condition, times broken, ends up in what you see, a shining product that is on the shelf and goes worldwide. So that's where it starts. And these are all empty cartridges as well here.
So when we have this proof of concept, right? We know that we can sell 1, then 10, then 100, then 1,000 potentially. At what point of time we need to understand that there is some limit of the capacity of the market, that we need to expand to another market? What was the turnkey decision, turnkey maybe accident that you decided to do it, that you maybe there was something that you felt that it's time to expand, that I covered this market? How did you feel it?
There are different things in business. Of course, the best way to go by this is data.
Mm-hmm.
So we are fortunate that we have some level of data available because there's an organization called IDC Boston. So they, provide exact data about the IT market, okay, and how big it is, and how many printers are established, what is the toner consumption per year, how many toner cartridges are consumed per year. So once you reach a certain level, we reached about 7% penetration in the HP toner cartridge market, and 10 is probably the maximum. So by data that, all right, you've now exploited. Then there might be other economic factors, just like in the recent couple of years, there have been some, let's say, corrections in the market. And so you look out for markets where fast growth is there and outside, and you have to have the capability and it's not only about cash, you have to have the managerial capability to manage another market. I guess you guys are consultants for opening new markets. So when we opened Kenya, we needed some, I don't know how many, 10, 12 processes, licenses, tax authorities, Kenya Foreign Investment, Kenya Corporate, Kenya this, Kenya Standard Bureau. So there's so many licenses you have to apply and so much process that we did in a record-breaking 3 months. Mm-hmm. And people said, as multinationals, we do that in a year. How did you guys do it in 3 months? Oh, I don't know, but we did it. So sometimes it's gut feeling, and you see markets are growing and you react by how it helps, but you have to have a lot of capability then to go international as well. So it's not easy to manage operations, stock, service. It's not just about having an office for a manufacturer. Please remember always, we are a manufacturer of products, so which means that we have to A to Z of processes, which is very complex. Mm-hmm. Procurement, supply chain, manufacturing, inventory, that whole management is a massive skill operation. Into logistics, delivering, and then marketing and sales. Most companies that you see out here, they're only involved in marketing and sales, because who makes their own product or service? Next to none. Most is representing another brand, reselling another product, or even services, taking up a foreign company that has a service. Now we're getting to a space where people are designing software, designing applications, but it's still few and about. Most is still building on another platform. Here, everything is from the A to Z from a real business. Full on. So it's very difficult to manage that.
All right. What you can say about YouTube? Do you watch YouTube or you don't have time for it?
No, I like YouTube, particularly when it comes to educational stuff. I like TED Talks, I like some inspirational talks, sometimes if I have time, I'll watch Elon Musk or whatever he talks about it, or some other people that I really respect, like Middleby's CEO, Salim Basoul. There are interesting people you meet, and then I think you can learn from anyone, and you can use any tool for various purposes. You can use YouTube for entertainment, great, right. Use it, relax. But for me, it's like a lot of learning in it. Sometimes music, of course. Yeah.
If you just started now, what would you do? What type of business would you do?
No, I can't tell you on camera because then I'll give you away my next business ideas.
Okay, so
But it was not in document printing solution. In the wider context, I have two ideas. One would be in the food and one in the sports field.
how to become #1 producer as you in the UAE?
Purpose, vision. You can't decide, I want to be #1. I think if your purpose is right, any idea you might have in any business, but if your purpose is right, and the purpose cannot be making money, that's not a purpose. If your purpose is making money, you become a banker, investment banker, or fraudster, or maybe a thief. That cannot be a purpose. For us, it's impacting people, creating jobs. So if your purpose is right, you will do everything you can to follow your dream. And that's how you become best at what you do. You will become best at what you can do in the niche, in the white space that you operate, in the blue ocean, if you want, that you operate. There's not much more to it. When you love what you do and you have passion for it and it's aligned with your inner purpose, you just become the best at it.
Are you thinking about starting new businesses, like which are absolutely different from what you are doing now, or you want to concentrate only on this particular project of yours?
I'm a strong believer of concentration. I think within this business we have started so many new businesses and new companies, and now new ventures are coming up, new joint ventures as well. So I'm a big believer of the hedgehog theory that in the book Good to Great is drawn out very nicely, that really is a core ingredient of great companies. And so there's so much to do in GIT that as long as I'm active CEO of GIT, not forget the ownership portion, but as long as I'm active CEO, no, there is no way. And that's in the Good to Great book, it's referred to the Fox theory, that the master of no trades, I guess I would say, that tries everything a little bit. So I'm a big believer in hedgehog, which is take one thing and take the flywheel and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If I would resign from my role as CEO and I have a formidable deputy CEO and a great management team, awesome people, if they take over and I don't need to do day-to-day management, yes, absolutely. Then I would think about other ideas, and I have a couple of ideas, 2-3 ideas that I really love. But not as long as I'm acting CEO.
What would you recommend to those who want to become successful entrepreneurs?
They will discover what they have to do on their own way, but follow a dream, follow what you want to really do, follow and have a full passion for that, to become best at what you want to do. You want to be a cameraman, you want to be a photography studio, you want to be whatever you want to do, follow that dream and become really best at it. So it all starts with that one idea, and then beyond that idea it circulates into various other areas. When you have that idea, you think about your culture that you're setting up. When you have that, you focus 90% of your time on your clients. It's all about clients, listening to them, talking to them. And you assemble yourself the right team that gets really excited with your idea as well. That's the purpose alignment. Because if they're not excited about your idea or the purpose of the company, they might be more excited about their jobs and themselves, and you don't get really a good team going. So big focus is on understanding purpose and culture and finding the right people into it. Then making those people sit with the clients and understand what those clients want. Then some technical tools, if you want to read John Durr's book, OKR, Management, Measure What Matters. Another one, Prove It, Stacy Barr, 2 highly recommended books for businesses that require metrics and a very different perspective on how to manage actually a company.
Right.
So those are 2 excellent books that I would recommend. Plus Good to Great. Good to Great is also a fantastic book.
All right. What would you recommend to those who have 50,000 or 100,000 dirhams to spend and to spare and maybe start their own business? What would you recommend to those people? I
would definitely not recommend them to spend $50,000 or $100,000 to maybe start their own business. If they are fully convinced that behind their idea, with passion, with some level of vision that they want to do something, then spend every bit of it on it. Just like Elon Musk would probably do and has done in his past. But if you are uncertain about it, the best place is a bank. It's gold nuggets or property or something else.
And coming back to idea.
Yeah. Can I interrupt you? Sorry on that. I think one of the worst things happening in societies, and entrepreneurs should be very careful about that, is our near ones, our friends, our families. Because inherently their job is to protect us. So it is actually the families and friends that often want to protect the entrepreneur and tell him, oh no, this idea is crazy. You will be risking your income. You will be risking your existence.
Yes.
And they actually are the worst culprits to prevent an entrepreneur from becoming successful and taking the risk. Any entrepreneur should be very clear. He should take family advice from family because they're best at it. But business advice, they should only take from people that have been there and done that. So any entrepreneur needs mentors, business friends, and every entrepreneur that I know personally will help other entrepreneurs intrinsically, not for money. Yeah. I have not seen an entrepreneur that will not help another entrepreneur when he's asking him a question and say, no, I will not answer you. So it's very crucial that when you seek advice, to seek advice of people who've been there and done that. Yeah. And as you grow, you seek advice and associate yourselves with people who have been there and done that. For instance, in my entity, we are now going international for the past 2 years. So who should give me advice? Someone who has done it. Yeah. Someone who's been there. Someone who has built a network in 30, 40 countries. Right. And that's the kind of advice, even in the young age, when you start very beginning, you should find another entrepreneur who's been there 2, 3 years, has done something, or maybe even longer, that can mentor you, but not friends and family.
Do you think this mentor, he should be from the same field of the business, or he can be from any field?
Any field, any field. We have had an advisory board since 2012. They can be professionals, they can be a mix on the higher level. Initially, you don't need professionals because they think differently. So you would definitely need an entrepreneur, someone in business. I don't think it has to be from your field because your challenges are the same. Has usually not much to do with the core of your business. They have to do with cash flow, with planning, with strategy, with thinking, with client focus, with building team and people, with thinking about your own culture. So there are various core ingredients that will typically help your business to become successful. I mean, now there are amazing books out there, really amazing books, and for whoever likes reading, you'll be like, wow, I wish I had read those books 20, 30 years ago. Right. And that's a role that also mentors can play. They can put you onto the right books, Google, You might have heard about the OKR system that we apply, also part of Agile. They were sitting in a garage and somebody just believed in them and paid them $12 million in the garage because they said, we want to organize the world's information. Now, how crazy is that? Yeah. In retrospective, in hindsight, everybody can say, wow, Google is amazing. Google is big. Google is controlling our life. It's a $700 billion company. Yeah. But who would have said, I give you $12 million when you're sitting in a garage and thinking we want to organize the world's information? But the same guy, John Doerr, now released only his book. He came in and said, yeah, I give you the money. I believe in your dream. But I also know that you have no clue about management. Right. So we're going to implement the OKR system that Intel is applying and the growth. And that itself is today's Google's inherent culture, the OKR system, and that made them so strong. If I had this book 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that management methodology, I think I would be already far beyond my 10,000 jobs that I wanted to create and maybe on the way to 100,000. So there's amazing stuff out there, and that's where mentors can help anyone actually.
What is your goal for the next 5 years?
5 years? Why you ask me 5 years? I have 3 years, I have 12 years. So 12 years is 2030. Our goal is clearly, the 10,000 jobs as our big BHAG. So that's where we're heading. And we have three-year objectives where we want to open a few more countries, and predominantly in Africa. Yeah. So East and West, Ghana, Tanzania. That's where we see us going. And right now we have a focus based on our OKR system on a Project 10X, we call it, Project Happiness, in which we want to secure all the jobs that exist and the salaries that people have for a 10-year period. Yeah. And we want to do that by, according to our OKRs, until 2019, December, shoot up to 3,000 machines under MPS management and 30 territories in export. And that's where the entire company is now aligning for the next 5 quarters, essentially.
What is the biggest dream now?
My biggest dream still is the 10,000 jobs.
10,000. So you're thinking in jobs. You're not thinking in revenues, in cash flow.
I don't care. Yeah. Just cash flow, revenue, everything is important for management.
Right.
But if you're asking about dream, for me it was never about the revenue. I don't care, it's $1 billion revenue, $1.5 billion, $100 million. For me it's the 10,000 jobs. I cannot create 10,000 jobs if you are not profitable, if you don't have cash. That's inevitable.
Yeah.
But it's not a revenue number that we're chasing. Our purpose is impacting people. We're chasing to impact people. I'll give you an example. Today we are, our partner in Ivory Coast had about $600,000 sales with our product.
Yeah.
In Ivory Coast, if you take the GDP of the country, you'll come probably to about equal GDP contribution of 300 people that we've already done. So today we have direct jobs, direct supported people within our partners, maybe over 1,000 already. So not the direct employees here, but direct jobs and the ones that the dependents, and also the dependents and direct jobs of our partners that sell our product. But if you take it in terms of GDP contribution, we are usually double or triple of the local economies. Even in the UAE, we are about 40% above average GDP, which is $35,000.
Yeah.
So even there we are higher.
You studied law. You had law experience.
Yes.
Why you decided to start the business company in printing? Why not law company, like law, legal consultancy?
Oh, I was extremely entrepreneurial when I was a lawyer. So from day one, I would bring clients to my firm. Okay. I had specialized in the Middle East, hence I knew about Dubai and traveling here. And we had associations with law firms here in the UAE as well. But so I was entrepreneurial within the law firm. Unlike a common junior associate who would get a stack of files on his tables and he had to work himself through it, I was flying around, I was meeting clients, I was coming to the Middle East, coming back. I was extremely interested in that. And indeed, you're asking the right question. I wanted to open an office with my law firm here in the region. But German law firms are very conservative in moving out of the country. So till date in the UAE, we do not have a German law firm. A major top 10 law firm, the ones that I worked for. We were ranked number 6 or 7 in those days with over 600 attorneys or staff. But they just didn't want to. And that eventually made me dislike my career path because I wanted to do something else. And why printing? It was a coincidence, completely a coincidence. I had a client who was in this industry. He was my client. And so I was doing corporate law, corporate and commercial law, and he was one of my clients for a period of about a year. And during this period, the conversations came up with, you know, the advantages from a cost perspective and taxation perspective to operate in the UAE. So I traveled with him to the UAE in 1998 or 99 as a business trip. He still was my client. And he liked the idea, and that's how the setup started. I introduced him to a local sponsor that I knew. Actually, I wouldn't call it a sponsor, it was actually an equity partner that contributed equally, a friend of mine that I knew from before. And before I realized it, I was in it. So my local partner said, I know you, if you come in, I'll come in, otherwise I won't. And the German partner that was in this industry before, he said, you know everything about business management, whatever, legal setup, Dubai, so why don't you come in? So it was a very short decision. I looked at the industry and I said, hey, I always wanted to manufacture. That was in my head. Okay. When I was in university, people asked me, what do you want to do? I want to manufacture. What? I don't know what. I want to manufacture. So I always wanted to produce a product. Yeah. I was a consultant. I was doing extremely well. Yeah. We were part of the top 2% in the kind of law firms that I operated. So it was hyper successful. It was not that was a failure or anything. It was actually extremely successful. I had the dream of any corporate lawyer back then in Frankfurt. But I had a dream. So you pursue your dream. Nice. So you choose between reality and dream. Convenience, high salary, top law firm. Yeah. And in Germany, I can tell you, if you're a lawyer, you're a very, very respected position. It's just second to medical doctors in terms of reputation. Unlike Anglo-Saxon countries where legal education is very short and is very driven towards contract or very something small. In Germany, it's a very long and in-depth education that qualifies you to become judge, prosecutor, attorney. It's very deep, and then you're part of the justice system. So it's an extremely well-respected position to have in Germany, and everybody says, Herr Rechtsanwalt, you know, it's very high, Herr Doctor. You're like, you know, half god in the country. Still, you know, in hometown, when a lawyer walks through, everybody says, that, you know. Yeah. So to leave that is big, but it took me seconds to decide.
Do you think if you started the very same business in Germany, for example,
yeah,
would you be of the same success, or it will be more difficult or more easy? What do you think?
I think it's easier. Yeah, I think it's easier. People refer to tax, but they forget one thing: you pay only tax when you make money. When you don't make money, you don't pay tax. So you have bigger markets, you have infrastructure, you have support mechanisms by government, funding, finance. It's easier. But equally said, there is huge opportunity in this part of the world, and we are in a part of the world that is developing. And I fell also in love with the African continent, and that's our core market: Middle East, Africa, India, Pakistan, and CIS. Right. That's how we define our, you know, core market at GiT. There's huge opportunity here. So I like playing this opportunity. I love Dubai 1996. You know, I didn't came for the glass towers. I'm happy that maybe I contributed to building those glass towers in my small role that we had. So that excites me, and so does excite me to, you know, be more greenfield and take up new areas and new projects where you feel it's more needed. I wouldn't say it really doesn't matter for any entrepreneur, the location choice, just where their passion sits. Now we're coming to the pantry area. Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Yeah. Hello.
There she is. That's my deputy CEO. She's going to take over my seat very soon, I think.
So you will be taking over, right?
How long? How much? 3 months? 6 months?
3 months.
3 months.
All right.
Hopefully 3 months. Take it on camera, show it.
Yeah, she's
3 months from now,
saying this on camera. Yeah, just
so I can do other projects. So that's Smita. We have back there an operations room, R&D, research and development. Past the ping pong. They're all out. We are here in lunchtime, so so that's Professor JR, I call him. So JR is behind the technology. So inside here you see like rough schematics of what a toner cartridge is made of. But there are many processes that are involved in designing new product. So every new product that comes, we follow STMC US standards, ANSI standards. So every new product will have multiple tests to provide formulations for products that come up with the best and vibrant printout qualities, coloring, page yield, duration, performance. So there are many things that we do here to test and ensure that the product comes out with the right quality for the client. So JR does that, and then he designs the training manuals, the formulations, the training manuals, conducts the trainings, and then it goes hands over to quality assurance department. And how many components are in one cartridge typically, JR? 60, up to 60, I think?
Yeah, more than.
More than 60. So more than 60 components in a very, very complex product. And all we see as end users, we click print, we see the paper coming, and if it doesn't come, we complain. But photo-organic drums, chemical toners, primary charges, magnetic rollers, microchips. There's so much going on in a toner cartridge today that is just mind-boggling. Like if people knew what goes into making one of these, it's like crazy. All right, let's head out to production unit. So we are very social here as well. So we have our ping pong tournaments. I will join in. Everybody plays together. We eat together, we play together, we live together. So in our company, we have no segregation of ranks or something. So everybody, as you see, the CEO will sit with whoever there might be, all together.
so they can come to you anytime, ask you any question.
Anybody. That's the fundamental principle. That one, take a shot of above this. So this is what we call the traits of a C player. So if you belong to the C players, we typically don't like, we'll ask you or you ask yourself whether you belong here, you should probably not belong here. If you're defensive when asked, when you're blaming others for shortcomings, protective on your turf, consistently find reasons for something will not work. Ironically, you believe that you're contributing a lot, then you sure shot a C player. And then you don't belong here. That is what we're looking for. So bring it on, whatever it is. I never blame others. I first look at myself. I exceed expectations consistently. My existence is not measured by time, but by results. I don't take no as an answer. There is no bad day, but a bad week or month. I make things happen. Yeah, I take initiative myself. I help others when they need me. I'm something, I learn something new every
Who
day.
invented this?
We. It just came when we did a brainstorming.
How all these big producers looking at your business like...
Like British Airways looks at Branson. They want to lock us down. Here they do filling. They fill the cartridges with this machine. That's the end stage. You can go back there. You have some machinery inside, the compressor room as well. And if you want to put your... So compressors, air dryers, dehumidifier. In electrostatic industry, we have to deal with everything with dry air, dehumidified air. So that's why it's very crucial to have the right processes from beginning. Electrostatic components like photoorganic drum and magnetic rollers, PCRs, do not like grease or humidity. When you touch it, you destroy the print quality at the end. So many little things going into the manufacture. So it all starts here when they take apart individual cartridges. So it will be completely dismantled. You want? Should I take one? This is partially dismantled. As you can see, there are still components like the PCR and magnetic roller are still in it.
Yeah.
This will be then eventually fully dismantled. Bad parts will be sorted out, right? And good parts continue in the process. So circular economy is all about how you extend life cycle of usable components.
Right.
So about 80% of what's been used here can be extended in life cycle. 20% will have added new components into it. So we can continue to one of the stations here. In color it runs different. So the color units run with special machines also. We have HEPA filters, HEPA filters included that extract the dust from the room. So it has to be in line with Dubai Municipality and Health Authority rules, everything. The air is very clean here. And that's because multiple vacuum machines are extracting. So once they have disassembled everything and qualified the good components, sorted out the bad components, they send the qualified components into the assembly unit. So we can move on to the assembly unit.
How do you deal with the task management?
Task management?
Yeah.
You just need to, it's all about time management. Task equals like time management.
Yeah.
So you have to manage your time and know your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
This
is important.
I think for us the priority remains client first.
Yeah, of course.
That's customer at heart is our core value, right? So client first, I think. So we are always driven by, so she manages logistics, right? Ruth manages logistics and make sure that 98, 99% of the time,
yes.
our product is delivered on time to the client next day.
Yeah.
Which means she has to coordinate with who?
With
procurement?
customers, yes, procurement, inventory,
production,
yes.
accounts,
Even
customers. So drivers, she manages the driver fleet as well, internationally and locally, right? So there's 5, 6 departments across the processes that Ruth needs to deal with to make that delivery happen, right? So we don't manage Ruth. We don't manage her, we don't manage her KPI. Ruth is managing the client receiving their goods as promised, in line with our value system, our company's culture, which is client first. And keep your reliability, which is our brand promise, keep your promise.
This is the photo that we were looking for. The meeting with His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed. Can you please let us know a little bit when that happened? And
that was just about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Sheikh Hamdan was there as well, by the way. And they congratulated us and thanked us for the contribution to the local economy.
Right.
So that was his words, like Sheikh Hamdan, I remember as well, thanks for your contributions to the economy and the local existence. So it was a reception in his palace in Jumeirah.
Yeah.
If you shift over there, we have actually a few pictures of Dubai Agenda 2021. So that was a meeting that's His Excellency heading the Executive Council, Shaybani. That's Dahi Khalfan, Chief of Police, Ministry of Economy. So this was a small working group in which we provided also ideas and brainstorming sessions on how to go the contribution of the SMEs from 40% to 60% in the local economy. So we had a couple of ideas. Our group won the innovation prize. So we won all laptops and we were the most innovative group out of 22 different groups. And a couple of our ideas got also implemented already in the economic department as well.
Nice.
You might have heard about the Dubai Star program, A star, B, B minus, star rating program out of Dubai SME.
Star rating, yeah.
That was conceived here on this table. On this table. So it's a very progressive, I found surprisingly very progressive approach of the government, of the Executive Council to incorporate. There was one foreign businessman, this gentleman, and me, the two entrepreneurs, and the rest are all government officials in our group. Well, I think it's an extremely progressive and open-minded approach to integrate the local community into lawmaking, if you want, into the economic policies.
Great.
We have here Sheikh Maktoum as well.
Get the #1 step-by-step guide on how to become your own boss in the UAE. You will learn how to start your own business in the UAE. Just click the link in the description below this video and follow this link. This is your time to start. Click the link below this video. Bam! How much did your life change when you started your business? Like, you had the schedule as being a lawyer, you had the like 8 to 5 job, I believe.
Nice suits.
Yeah, nice suits, nice shoes. But then you started your own business. What changed?
For one, the suits went off. No more flying to London, Jermyn Street and buying nice suits and wearing church shoes. There was no use of them because now you needed to get dirty.
Right.
So once you start being an entrepreneur, you do everything. So you pick up waste, you clean, you move, you have floodings, your hands are in everything. You go into sales calls, you go down to Khalid bin Walid Road into Computer Street trying to find clients. You know, and you come initially with your dark blue suit and a cartridge box under your arm, they laugh at you. So the first thing that flies out is the suit, probably. Maybe that's why entrepreneurs like to wear jeans and jacket or something, I don't know.
In terms of timetable, how much did your timetable change when you started your business and now? Did you work, like, for example, 20 hours a day, and when you started?
I work 24 hours. I don't mean that I'm 24 hours in the office, and work for me is not necessarily sitting in the office or doing something, but my mind doesn't switch off. So that's crazy. I think most entrepreneurs might have a similar feeling. It's like day, night, weekend, holiday. There is no differentiation. I think that's the biggest difference between being self-employed or employed.
Yes.
When you're employed, you probably can drop the pencil at 5 or 6 and not think about it anymore. You can think. You don't need to think about your job on weekends. You don't need to think about jobs on holidays. But for me, this is not a job. It's a mission. So at the mission, you might miss. You know, I might wake up at 4. I definitely am thinking at 4 and 5 a.m. as well. And sometimes I even wake up at 4 a.m. and write down a few notes. And my team thinks sometimes that he has one of those days when I wake up and they get like a WhatsApp on the WhatsApp chat group that, hey team, we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's like, okay, 4:35 a.m. So that kind of thing happens, and it never stops, and it's not work. I don't see it as work. People ask me, do you want to retire? I say, why, what is that? I don't know what retirement is. I think retirement is something for those who do something that they never liked. If you do what you love, I don't understand what retirement is. I love what I do, and it takes a lot of hours. At the beginning, I think you're doing a little bit more troubleshooting, hands-on, and later on it becomes a bit more about management and strategy. but it takes time to evolve. So at the beginning, you just need to get your hands dirty, you need to meet clients, you need to make sure that your product fits clients. Some of the lessons also I wish people would have taught me, or I had a mentor that would have taught me when I was younger in business, how important it is to sit regularly with clients and just listen to them. Like I was sitting in Uganda and this entrepreneur talks about this idea of a football academy that should teach principles and management skills to young children. I said, great idea, wonderful. And, you know, sports and combine it with thinking and teaching is great. So he asked me, what do you think about this idea? So I looked at him, I said, why are you asking me? I have no clue. But who will be your clients? Children? I said, no, mothers. They will put their children, right, into the academy. And I would urge everyone to listen very carefully to what happened now. There were two mothers sitting at the table, also entrepreneurs. So I turned to the mothers and said, all right, do you mind, could we conduct an interview with you? And I said, yeah, sure. So how many children do you have? I have one, below 10. I have two, over 10. And we conducted an interview. Would you put your child into a football academy that teaches other values and skills? Oh yeah, sounds exciting. All right. How many times a week would you put your child? The one with the child below 10 said, I would put it 3 times. Both said 3 times. But the one said 3 times for 1 hour. The one with the older said 3 times for 2 hours. So they're great. What would you expect as an outcome? Teaching principles, learning something, finding talents, you know, engaging them. But would you like a pickup as well? Yes, pickup, drop-off, convenience would be good. How much would you be willing to pay for the academy? Oh, in Uganda, they said, we want to pay $250 per month. That's fine. That's big money in Uganda. Yeah. And then he said, oh, then we could have younger children, you know, with lower income. And I said, no, we have to have middle class. We want only that, otherwise we will not put our children. It continued and said, how much would you pay for the drop-off and pick-up a month if that was organized? And it continued and it continued, and he was starting to type, and within 20 minutes he had a complete business plan by the relevant clients. Yeah. So I think as entrepreneurs we get so, you know, caught up with what we think is amazing. And we put so much pressure on ourselves to think what's amazing, while the one thing that we should be doing is talking to clients and saying, what do you want? How much are you willing to pay? You know, what services do you want? And the more we listen actually to the paying client that eventually is going to spend the money, the more we will learn about our business and adapt the business. There is only one person that determines whether your product, your business has value. It's a client. They pay. If it has value, they pay. If it doesn't have value, they won't pay. So who should we talk to? Mothers, fathers, friends, mentors, or clients? 90% of the time, we should talk to clients. They will innovate. They will change our business. They will tell us what to do.
What is more valuable than money for you?
More valuable than money. Everything. People, relationships, friendships, health, life, everything is more valuable. Money is a means that gives you the freedom and options to do what you want to do, for me. I'm not like that Donald Duck uncle that gets high on hoarding money. Yeah. I love money, to hoard, to see it, but it's not because of the fact of having a pile of money, it's the fact that what does that money allow me to do with it? Okay. Right? What do I want to do with $100 million if it's not about what I could do with it? Or $1 million, what it's about for me, I want the $1 million, I stand behind it, I love it, but because of what I can do with it. Because I can open another manufacturing facility in Kenya, I can hire another 1,000 people there, I can, you know, start something else in Pakistan. That's what money does for me.
Where do you take energy from for managing all of this business?
Utter believe and dream from day one to now.
Dream.
That keeps me going. The belief, the deep belief. It's not a dream, it's a deep conviction and belief in executing that vision. I saw us as #1 in the Middle East, Africa, Pakistan, India, CIS, and that's what keeps me alive every single day at work. Physically, you mean? I do something else. I play tennis regularly.
So tennis gets you energized?
Tennis gets me revitalized, energized. I play 4 times a week usually. I play 3 times with an excellent coach. I love my coach. He's a fantastic guy. So that's recharged my batteries.
A soldier who doesn't want to be a general is a bad soldier. What do you think about a businessman? A businessman who doesn't want to become a billionaire is a bad businessman?
I didn't say I don't want to become a billionaire. Did you get that?
No. No. I mean, what's your attitude towards that? Who should...
See, I think you become a billionaire, millionaire, whatever,
Yeah.
if you do the right things. So if your goal is to become a billionaire, I think you will fail. If your primary goal.
Yeah.
If your primary goal is to get a PC on every table, to revamp the world's information systems, if your primary goal is to revamp the world's retail structure, if your goal is to help the environment, and you're good at what you do, you automatically will become a millionaire or billionaire or whichever level that you operate at. But if your primary goal is, I want to make money, I have my doubts.
When you started GiT, how did you find your first client? Who were?
Oh boy!
Do you remember, by the way, your first client?
I forget nothing from those days. I forget nothing. I remember everything. Well, we set up this business not as a business to serve clients in the UAE. We set this business up as a factory to produce for a German factory, at the time the largest factory in Germany, called K&U. And so we had an agreement with them to do outsourced production. That's why I left a high-flying career. 3 partners came together, we had a business plan, we had a career, we had clear...
So before you put your business plan on the paper, you already knew who your major client will be?
That was the concept of the business, yes, correct. So we were they shipped us material from Germany, container loads, 4 containers initially of material. We were supposed to manufacture these toner cartridges for them and ship it back to Germany, and they would pay us for the added value. That was the concept. And so we set up the factory in light of that. But once we set up the factory, we started September 99. We had the first cartridge produced it's still in our reception. You can see it with a gold label on it. That was produced in March 2000. And we finished in April 2000, 11,000 cartridges produced for this client. Was, I believe, 4 containers again to go back to Germany. Right as the containers were finished and ready to go back to Germany, they went bankrupt. What do? You've hired 40 people, you bought a US consultant as your manufacturing, training and manufacturing manager, you have produced all this material, you're standing there and your client says, we're out. One client, typical startup mistake or scenario, not mistake, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, typical startup scenario where they say your business plan never stands the first client. And in our case, it was reality. So we were standing with so many employees. We had a 350,000 dirhams cash outflow a month, and we had no revenue coming in. And we had all this staff, this factory, 11,000 square foot. So that was very challenging, extremely challenging. So every month the clock was clocking with another 300,000-400,000 dirhams. Before you realize that was a 3 million dirhams. To suppliers, to staff, to So we had a little bit money left. We went to Cebit. I think it was in the fall of 2000. Cebit is the largest IT show in Frankfurt, in Hanover. Not Frankfurt, in Hanover. We had a stand, and then we realized that, wow, I think the number was 28 major remanufacturers pitching for the same business. Said, okay, who are we? Startup in Dubai pitching with 28 remanufactured. That's not going to succeed. So we spent another $10,000 there probably. The money was sifting out, and then packed our suitcases and came back. And then we had a box at the time, a design, brand. It's not the same like this one. It was definitely very different, very junior to this. So I had that box and I took it under my arm and in one of my suits, and I went down to Khalid bin Barid Road, shop to shop. I must have hit 50, 100 shops at least.
So you were doing it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing here, so who was there? We had no local sales staff. It was not planned to sell here. So I took the box and the brand to the market and tried to sell it. And then I realized quickly that in the computer street environment, they're just used to sitting in shops and selling HP, making money. So it's not a sales skills required there. It's just like a distribution program at small margin. So when we introduced this kind of a product, nobody knew even what it was. Yeah. And I said, no. So we got a lot of no's and quickly realized that, well, that's not the way to market. I mean, now you could give up. You have 3 million debt, pack your suitcase and run. I always had my license. I'm still registered attorney in Frankfurt. You know, I always could have gone back. I didn't. I decided to stick in it because still that dream existed. This will be the #1 place in the Middle East Africa. Today we are. Yeah. And the Middle East Africa, the #1 remanufacturer of toner cartridges, the #1 independent document printing solutions provider.
That was the time when you were making the payment for such a success, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you battle it out, you fight it. Then I hired also 2 guys. I hired 2 guys. In those days, the salaries were 1,500 dirhams, sales guys. Okay. And we had 2 cars branded. Okay. Skoda, small Skodas. I remember everything of it. And the first guy landed the sale of 1 cartridge. 1 cartridge. It was 190 dirham sale. And then I threw a big party. And he said, but I'm embarrassed. The party is costing a lot more than, you know, than this 1 cartridge, 190 dirhams, 189 dirhams, I think it was. I said, no, this was a proof of concept. Who can sell 1 can sell 10. Who can sell 10 can sell 100, and who can sell 100 can sell 1,000, and it continues, we can sell millions where we are today. So this has been my fundamental principle in entrepreneurship. Whenever we started new businesses, and we had started many new businesses, new locations, new businesses, new segments within the business, new products, new services, I always say, stick to the same theory. We need a proof of concept. If you can't sell 1, then we'll go after 9. 1 is not a full proof of concept, but it shows it's sellable. Yeah. But once you hit 10, you have pretty much a solid proof of concept. If you hit 100, then it's very solid and proven. Then onwards, it's just strategy. It's easy. We started 2 businesses, startup, 2 years ago. We're generating this year over 5 million revenue with these 2 new businesses. I know that 75% of startups probably fail and how difficult it is, but sometimes we get surprised. We launched managed print services, document printing solutions about 2 years ago from scratch, from zero. And we started our export business. We were not exporting, we were only domestic oriented. And this year we will generate over 5 million. And it's 120, 150% growth over last year for these 2 new startups we did. Yeah. So did we a startup in 2016 in Kenya. So we started there. And year 1 was $50,000, and it grew by 6 times to $300,000 or 1.1 million revenue. So that's all part of another startup that became profitable in the first full year of operation. So that theory of 1 still applies everywhere. No, we don't sell at all. We have a full-on B2B operation in the UAE. We have thousands of clients, very prominent clients like Majid Al Futtaim, corporate clients, and we ministries, very direct sales. And in the final stage, what happens here, they will now airbag, pack the cartridges in airbags that are airtight and shockproof as well for international shipment. Our Lion brand is for international shipment, now for partners. So the Lion brand is exclusively for them. That distinguishes our GT Premium brand. GT Premium brand is being sold wherever we sell directly only. So it's only us who controls the A to Z of sales process and after sales process. Where we actually have additional services like leasing, print management services, etc. Right. Software support. So we operate today with multiple software partners to manage the print environment in corporate clients.
Amazing. Very nice.
So that's also German technology as well. From even the airbags are patented in Germany. So the chambers don't deflate. So there's a lot of little detail. You can get airbags in Asia, but you cannot get airbags that don't deflate. Right. Those you find in Germany. And that's pressure controlled, it's sealed, and pressure controlled machine.
More precise. Exact amount of oil is discharged into those chambers. So
that's a valve control, automatic filling. We have a second one, third one, right? The backup. You have additional backup too, right? So once that is done, no packet in the, yeah, you
it's inflated like a ball.
Yeah, you can play, it's safe, you can play football with it. Now it goes here in the box, and then the box is sealed and hot sealed, and that's it. So we can see a ready box. Do you have a closed box? Premium?
Can you show us about one box? Closed one?
Anyone?
Ah, you even put the German quality.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
High standards, remanufactured to high.
So this is the GT Premium that has been sold in Kenya
Right.
and in the UAE where we directly sell ourselves. And this is the line box which is then sold by our partners, now exported to 20 countries.
Right.
So that has made it.
What is the price for this and for this approximately?
This we cannot tell you
Okay.
because it's for partners.
Okay, for this.
This, see, we have 200 different models. What our brand promise is we sell it 25% below HP pricing, so whatever the HP pricing is. But to give you an idea, the cheapest models are around 200 dirhams for one unit, and it goes up to 1,000 dirhams.
Nice.
1,200 is the retail price for the most expensive unit. And then we have specialty products, MICR, for check printing. They can be more expensive, so they have dedicated toner for, you know, the checkbooks, they have magnetic toner, how to read it. So we have toner cartridges for that specific purpose. Our specialty in general is color. That's where we have a unique standing and advantage in the market because 70% of our revenue today comes from color, whereas even HP does only 30% from color.
Right.
So that's where we really excel. We will see printers coming here. This is like a big job that we do. They are broken, they are damaged.
How do they come to you? Like
Oh, from clients, from traders,
All over the world.
all over the world as well. So we recondition them completely.
Do you actually buy them or they just give it to you like
Both. Sometimes it's part of CSR that they give it to us. Sometimes we buy them for minimal prices as well from intermediate dealers. So both. But once this process happens and they recondition the printers, we'll have finished models like this one, for instance. So once they're ready completely, they will be fully wrapped up, scanned. They look like brand new.
Yeah.
They perform like brand new. So instead of putting 200 kilos of waste into a bin
Right.
and throwing it out or sending it off to Afghanistan or China, we extend their life. So that's all reconditioned. As you can see, it looks, you can see pretty well on this one how it's reconditioned. That's a big color machine M855. That's a $6,000 machine. That refurbished would go about for $3,500, $4,000. So the client saves a lot of money and has the same look, feel, and performance like new. And that's from that broken image that you saw.
Yeah. Do you exercise, like you said you do tennis, anything else? Do you do anything else?
Tennis is the main thing. I do walk around and, you know, I did climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I do things like that. I summited, for instance, that. I like to be out in nature.
How many hours per day do you sleep?
6?
6. Do you feel okay after 6 hours?
You tell me, am I okay? Okay.
What do you do in your free time? Absolutely free, out of business, disconnection, complete disconnection.
Well, disconnect if I would say tennis, I disconnect.
Yeah.
When I play sports, then it's complete disconnect. On weekends, it might be on the beach, just relaxing, reading something. But complete disconnection typically for me happens when I'm out in nature. So if I would, like Kilimanjaro, for instance, that's not often that you do, but still, if you do a hiking, if you're going outside in nature, that's where I can really be and disconnect from everything else.
How many days do you usually allow yourself to go for a vacation?
Depends on the situation. I have done vacation overall 2 months, 3 months in a year. I have done a year like this year where I've cancelled mainly any vacation. When it requires my attention, then that's, you know. But I have done also, maximum at one go was 2 months, I think.
2 months.
Yeah.
When was it?
Not beginning. Yeah. Somewhere then we grow fast and well. If it's well organized, my team doesn't need me to be here to do anything.
Yeah, right.
So they're operating the business on their own. So I'm not needed for operation.
Who is your top people who surround you that you can trust and who manage all these operations?
I can trust actually pretty much all.
Is it executive director or?
No, we've cut layers by layers by layers. So we are true lean management. So we have CEO, we have managers, and we have contributors. That's it. So now we have shrank down to just these 3 layers. So that's why I can confidently say I can trust everyone. You will see interview campaigns happening where our coordinators or front desk receptionists will conduct interviews. You will see seniors doing junior stuff, juniors doing senior stuff. So we've cut through the hierarchy in this company. So it's always about the job that you want to get done in the OKR system, not about the position or the hierarchy.
Yeah.
I have a core team of 8 people. So every manager, title manager, is in that team.
Yeah.
So it's me, it's the 8 managers, which is human resources / deputy CEO now, operations manager, quality assurance, finance, very important in any company, and then the 4 different sales units, the managers. They sit all with us in the senior management team, and then the rest 100. So there's very lean.
Do you plan to maybe to get somebody taking your chair as a...
Yeah, I always tell my team, please take it. I'm waiting for somebody to take it, and now we have she as well, Smita. D'Souza is my deputy CEO, just happened a couple of months ago, and she's very capable. And you know, I hope she wants it, and I hope she will take it. The faster she can take it, the better for me. The purpose doesn't change, the company doesn't change, and I'm really happy if somebody can take it off my hand, because then I can maybe still support on growing the company into new countries, new territories, you know, representing the company, but I wouldn't mind pulling out of day-to-day activities.
Do you remember how much did you earn in the first months of running your business? Was it in profit or it was in minus? Like the very first month?
No, we had set salaries because we started differently. We had the capital, so we had capital, so we had set decent salaries. I do remember we had set 15,000 dirhams as a salary, but I think it was paid for 8 months, and after that then there was no more cash. So
for 8 months you were not profitable, the first 8 months?
We were never profitable in the beginning. I mean, you remember the story that my client went bankrupt. We were having only debt, so we were only burning our own cash. So profitability started for us 2 years, 3 years later.
2 years later?
Yeah, 3 years maybe. You don't expect to run a business in profitability. It's all about cash flow. Business, you know, the single biggest, most important mistake entrepreneurs make that I made for a long time, they're focused on revenue.
Yeah.
They're focused on revenue, and they're focused on the P&L, profit and loss, you know, sheet. They look at the profit position. But that has nothing to do with your reality or existence. That's all vanity. It's all nonsense. What really matters is your cash flow. And if your ability to generate cash is good and you manage your cash, you'll be always the king of the jungle and you'll always survive. We have acquired this skill. Even recently, as the market was into a correction, we actually made quite substantial losses in 2016. But even in tough time, we still generate cash. Even in tough time, we still put cash aside. Even in tough time, we were able to invest into a new business in Kenya and launch 2 other businesses that have grown to 5 million, despite of losses. So loss is irrelevant, and entrepreneurs should be much more looking at the balance sheet positions. The one that understands balance sheet, the one that understands cash, will really succeed, and that's a bit difficult to comprehend for who starts up. But to make it very simple, you could have a client that promises you a $1 million dirham deal and you sign it just like mine, but then he doesn't pay you. Then what? You have to pay your staff, you have to pay, you know, there are so many reasons why, you know, your cash could not come, but on paper you have 1 million sales and you have whatever, 200,000 profit. Good, what are you going to do with it? It's paper. Wrap it up and toss it in a bin. What matters is your balance sheet. It's cash in the account, your ability to generate cash. I believe it's Amazon that for 20 years had losses. It's correct, right? It's Amazon, right? So the whole business model is just having loss because there's a different strategy behind it. How to expand the business and set it up for what it is today to become a $1 trillion business. But they operated, but they had the cash available, right? Was it about P&L? Was it about profit and loss? No. It's about cash management. If you have the cash to float for 20 years at loss, then float for 20 years at loss, no problem.
What was the most difficult thing that happened to your business so far? Was it this debt of 3,000 million or something else?
Oh yeah, I mean the beginning was tough because when you start your business, you're flying high, you want to start, and boom, your first client is gone and you owe the market 3 million, and then you have court cases and payment backs. Mind you, that's 20 years ago now, 19 years ago, not today. But that was definitely one of the biggest ones, but ongoing. I mean, 2007-8, another one, major crisis, when global crisis. We came out of it with flying colors because 2009 we had our best year ever. We grew 48% in the year of crisis because we did some changes, hired people, and took a big risk that while everybody was firing, I stepped in front of my team and said, because of this global crisis, GIT will not fire one single person. And I think that changed the mindset of my team at the time. They said, company will support. Not only we did not fire anyone, we actually hired like hell. Like we kept hiring and hiring and hiring, and that's why we grew also 48% and 40% 2009-10. And then 16-17 again. So the one statistic that I bear in mind, that every entrepreneur should bear in mind that survives the first 5 years, is that every 7 years you will have a major crisis hitting you. So it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. That's not only for SMEs or medium or small or micro, that equally happens to General Motors, that equally happens to Boeing or Airbus or whoever.
This is just the law. Yeah.
It is the law, because there's a very volatile, uncertain world out there. It's called VUCA, right, in agile business methodology. Changing dynamically all the time, and we create blue oceans with our product. What do 200 competitors in the UAE do? They just replicate. It's that bad that they go to the clients and say, tell us what GIT does. And we do exactly the same. Carbon copy our websites, try to copy our boxes, copy our services. Yeah. When you're the market leader, it's easier to become market leader. It's much more difficult to stay market leader. Because everyone is just looking at you, trying to copy, trying to hit you somehow, trying to get at you. Well, we don't care about that at all, what they're doing. We care about clients, so we keep talking to clients. So we're out all the time talking to clients and serving clients, because when we know that we can, that client communication that I mentioned earlier, as long as you can keep up the communication with client and innovate your model the way the client needs it, you will succeed in your business. Now, the others can look at us as competition, but that's fine. We don't look at them as competition.
So, when you were building a team, how did you select people? How did you know that this is the person I want to be with in one team? What were your major points that you put your attention?
You ask me then or now? What I would tell you now?
Then and now. When you were a startup, and now when you are in a senior position.
Then I was not as skilled about it, but there was always one fundamental thing for me, being German, brought up, and being German in my thinking and ways of working. To have somebody who's open and genuine was always top ranked for me. Yeah. And you would catch even CVs that are hollow. You would look at CVs, you would hire, put job ads out. In those days it was Gulf News printed media, not even online. So the first job ads were black boxes in the newspaper that people started calling, and we had fax machines. You don't know fax machines probably, but we had fax machines. You know, funny. Yeah.
Sometimes.
I've forgotten them too. I'm not that old. Okay, fine. We used to get faxes, like tons of CVs, and then you would skim through it and look at the experience, look at, is it not too flawed, but decent enough, and then you would invite and you would talk. And if the person was genuine enough to have a genuine, honest conversation, for me that remained always the most important parameter, which is even today one of our core values. We call it speak up. Where there is candor, integrity, and all of that, genuine, goodwill-based conversation is part of our key DNA. Curiosity, learning, and the speak up. That's like our DNA, and that's how we look at people when we hire them. Today, we've evolved. Top grading methodology and thinking. Today, I would say, to keep it simple, not to deep dive into top grading or anything, but I would say if you have an idea, you set up a business as an entrepreneur. Once you have a few people, when you're younger, has nothing to do with age. When you are a young business, you have fewer people. But you define your culture. It's extremely important to define your culture and hire into your culture. Now, it sounds abstract. Most people say, what's culture? I don't know what culture is. It's not that complicated. It's exactly that DNA that was in me when I wanted, let's say, genuine and candid conversation. Like, sense of curiosity, just ask if you don't know. That's our core DNA today still. Now, for you it might be as a business owner different. For other business owners it might be different what's important to them. But it's their culture. They might be wanting to they might like working erratic. They might want to work like 24 hours. They might want to work on weekends. They want flexibility from you maybe. They want you to do handstands while you're working or have no office. Hey, it's all cool. You just make sure you define it, you understand your own culture, and you hire into your culture. And that's probably the most crucial aspect of hiring. We all have heard it 1,000 times that, whatever, people eat strategy for breakfast. And it is very true. And if you go by Good to Great and multiple other books, you need to find great people to work with you, more important than anything else. It's not about fixed assets, it's not about technology, buildings, anything. You find great people that want to work with you, that are fit into your culture, aligned with your purpose. They get excited, they get high on thinking environment in our case, thinking job creation. So when you find that, the magic happens. That's Sumit.
Hello, Sumit.
Hi, how are you?
Max.
Sumit is not only the best inventory manager that you could find, but he has a very special story. Maybe he can share himself, and that's what impacting people today is about, is Sumit.
Okay, please.
Where did you start, in which function in GiT?
I started here as an office boy, and then I moved to inventory.
Office boy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When was it? What
It
year
was
was
in 2010.
10.
Yeah, and then I moved to inventory, and then I started working as an inventory supervisor, sorry, inventory assistant, and then I got a promotion as an inventory supervisor. So right now, I'm handling this department.
So that's a 10-year career, or how long?
Almost 10 years. 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
And that's for us what truly this means. Like, we have so many individuals just like Sumit who joined. What made you believe in GiT? Why did you stay? What was so special for you?
The reason is here is the main thing is like if you go, we have a what do you call procedures which we working like everything is by stage wise. Like main thing is like customer satisfaction. So we all working for that. Like we have a what do you call next day deliveries. I mean we all have a target here.
But what made you love the company?
Everything is there. You're right, but it's a culture like what we follow.
The main reason why I'm here is we all work as a team. Like A to Z, you can see the Dr. Sassan is the owner.
Yes.
You can see how he's working with us.
Right.
It's very friendly.
Is he a role model for you? How he works? How many hours I don't ask him. You will tell me. How many hours is he in the office usually?
He's coming like 9 o'clock and sometimes maybe 10 o'clock
in the evening.
But he's the main motivation for us.
Yeah.
Like, the main motivation. So we can see our owner is working, but we cannot work.
Yeah. Right.
So that is the main reason I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have so many examples. Like Dr. Sassan said, I grew up here like. I mean, almost I'm like 10 years here. So I started as office boy, and then I'm working as inventory manager.
Right.
Like we have so many,
individuals that have grown.
It's a single example.
Yeah.
Our staff number 1 is still here from November '99.
Yeah.
He joined as an office assistant, made his driving license, became a delivery guy, then he started working for finance team, and today he's a PRO. Still here, also 19 years into.
And also we have production supervisor beam. Started as a normal technician, now he's handling production.
Oh.
Yeah. Another guy.
Production manager,
I started
operations
Tell
manager,
us your story.
and now coach.
My story, why I came to GiT, because
I even don't know this story. Now he can tell me again.
I saw the
Careful
people,
what you say.
I saw the people, I saw my immediate bosses, how they are. It's not a company, but it's the people what makes a company.
Right.
And here, GiT, what I believe, we are spending most of our time here. It's like a second home.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of time not spent at home, but here in the company. And this family culture is one what takes us together, strives us and drives us for the growth of the company together as a family.
Right.
So whether there are problems, there are happy moments, but we all are together. We share with each other, we discuss and we strive in a forward motion. So when I joined here in 2013, I joined as a supervisor, but I got a promotion immediately as a manager in few days, and after that, with the dedication, hard work, and in fact, it's not only that, but the supports from the seniors and superiors, which made me to this step of as an operation manager. And believe me, it's not only the operation manager, but I have been given a very dedicated task of coaching the full management team, including my boss as a CEO. So at sometimes I am his boss. Okay.
So he's now the coach.
Yes.
In the Agile and OKR and Scrum methodology, is a company-wide coach who is taking up a new role that will remove him from daily tasks more and more, and it will just be an internal coach.
Was it your decision to become a coach, or somebody asked you to do that?
If you see, it's not my decision, but it's the qualities or the training or the process orientation what I have has made me to take up this challenge. But this is all judged and I'm going to say
His nature.
Yeah, it's a natural.
His nature has made him the coach because he's wandering around and he's always concerned about helping others. So
People.
How do you find such people?
God throws them in your lap. So I don't know.
It's a one thing, but the other thing is,
The purpose.
good what you do, the good comes back to you. So the impact, the purpose what we have of impacting people is attracting all to us. Believe me, the people who resign, go back for future or better opportunities, we find them after 6 months again here.
I see.
Happily coming back.
It says a lot about the company, about the owner, about the mission, vision, and the strategy. If people come back to a company, it means that they like the environment and they want to come back.
I think if you drill back to the purpose discussion we had upstairs, I think it's not aligned around me necessarily, it's everybody is around the purpose of the company. Impacting people means, first of all, impacting ourselves and our lives. And then making that happen for more and more people. And when everybody is around that purpose, it becomes really exciting. Then everybody is steaming towards one direction.
A real story, real people, real lives, a real company. Let's go. Thank you. So if you have some weak team members in your company.
Oh boy, oh boy. Because everybody else would rather. Weak or negative. They have no space, they should not be there. If you want to win, if you have a B-hack, if you find to linger around or risk or jeopardize your existing teams and then keep weak people or C players. Just imagine you have a football team and you have someone who doesn't want to play. You tell him you are left forward and he's sitting down, not coming to practice or going right forward or deciding when he wants to play or she wants to play. That's alignment. Business alignment is like football.
I like it. I like this comparison. Yeah.
Very simple. Keep that in mind whenever you look at people strategy and movement.
What was the happiest moment in your life?
Oh, so many. I was
like the most.
Really. No, I'm really blessed.
Two.
You know, really a lot of gratitude in my life. I was really blessed to come all the way. I'm not saying it's without challenges, but there's so many good moments in my life that I'm so super happy and I'm believe in the power of now. So I'm really not remembering usually what yesterday. Happiest moments in life, I can point a few maybe. One when I graduated law, that was like extraordinary because in Germany we study 5 years and then we do 9 days of exams in court and each exam is like 5 hours. So I remember every bit of it vividly and all the stress is then. So you pass these 9 papers then you're done. Nothing what you've done before matters in those 5 years and the failure rate is very high. So when I passed that exam I was so relieved, so happy, immensely happy. I mean, calling my mother, crying on the phone that I passed it. So that was a very emotional moment. Yeah. Passing the second exam was equally stressful because if you don't pass it, then you don't get your license as an attorney. And that's again very stressful. But now I had also worked all the time as an attorney and I had not really prepared myself for exams. So it was very traumatic going into those exams. And finally I came out and 10 years later I still had nightmares that I didn't make it, and I woke up and I said, no, I have it, I have the license. So that was a very happy moment when I got it, extremely happy. First marriage, when I got married, birth of my son, that was like a very happy moment. So these are the happy moments, I think. And recently, I had a happiness outburst business-wise. That was like, I think my team had never seen me like that. Right. So I'm sitting on my PC, and I'm looking at sales. You know, sales are whatever, 60, 80,000, 100,000 a day sometimes for us. So I'm looking at the sales here locally and opening my screen and I was going into a meeting and it was like 29,000. And okay, I went to a meeting 2-3 hours later. I came back and clicked the refresh button in our ERP and said 800,000. Said, cannot be, wrong button. So I looked at the statistics, I closed it and opened it again and it was again 800,000. I said, that cannot be. What is 800,000? What does this be? So I looked at the date. I thought it's maybe from month's beginning. So this was the 10th day of the month. So I said, it's month's beginning. So I kept looking at the date. I said, the date is today. It's not from month's day. So I started looking at the individual orders and I saw that big order from one ministry and another big order from our partner. I said, it's true. And then we have a Swiss cowbell outside. And, you know, after having a hard patch for the last 2 years, I was out there with that cowbell, and you know, when you win a football match, you're on your knees and your arms are up, and you've done it, and the whole staff. I mean, everyone who was there got excited. So that was a super happy moment. That was our highest sale ever in a single day.
What is success for you?
Success in what? In business, in life, in whatever
In
success?
general, how do you define success? In business, let's say. Yeah.
Business success is easy to define. It's technical, right? You have a BHAG, you have employees, you have strategy, you have numbers, you have cash flow, you have, that's quite easy to define. You set yourself goals and you achieve them is success.
Right.
Life success is very different. Life success, I think to have peace of mind is probably the most biggest element of success. It doesn't matter where you are, but you have to be at peace with yourself.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are economically, in which phase of life you are at. It's peace of mind and it's successful.
If you could meet anyone in the world's history, who would you like to meet?
Einstein, amazing guy.
What would you talk about?
I talk always. I think for a change I would not talk. That would be the biggest difference because I keep talking a lot and then you don't hear enough when you talk a lot. So if I had the opportunity to sit with Einstein or Elon Musk, I'd better shut my mouth and let them talk.
After life, when you meet with God, what would you tell him?
Thank you.
What currently inspires you the most?
Right now?
Right now, yeah.
Right now, my team. So after implementing for the last 2 years, working on the Agile system and the whole methodology of OKR Scrum, cutting through hierarchies and reducing layers of management, it's really an amazing joy to come every day to the office, and that keeps me like, yeah, I want to come because I love how they work together and how everybody is involved. So that's really, they inspire me. They're all great people and they love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. We all love what we are doing. So that's really inspirational.
Nice. What would be your words of encouragement to those people who want to start business but they are afraid?
Nike, just do it. So if you have a belief, just do it. You have afraid. Afraid is a ghost. Afraid is a ghost when you're not prepared. So the more facts you have about what you do, the more knowledge you have about what you do, the more you talk to people that have been there. The afraid part typically comes from your friends and family, mothers, fathers, and so on. Who makes you otherwise afraid? What's afraid? Afraid is not real. Being afraid means there is a ghost looming, I will fail. Somebody has told me I might fail. You cannot fail. Nobody can fail. Why should you fail?
Yeah.
It's impossible to fail if you have belief and faith that you can do something. So knowledge is a good factor that tackles failing as well. So the more knowledge you have about your industry, but the one thing that puts you, all right, I'm a believer in one thing, right? So the one thing that puts you at peace, don't look at business plans, don't look at opinions, don't look at anything. Get a paying customer. When you have that one paying customer, then you know somebody is ready to pay for your product or service.
Okay.
And once you have that, look at 9 more. When you have reached 10, you have a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's only innovation. Then it's only fine-tuning. What do I add? What do I take away? How do I make it more efficient? And the client conversation will tell you that how to do that. But even that first customer, if it's not clicking, it will be conversations with clients that will help you. So forget the theories, forget the fear, whatever who told you. If you find a paying customer, you have a business going.
Yeah. Okay, if I want to become a partner of Sassan, who should I be?
Somebody who can add value to, not me, but to the purpose of the company.
Okay.
And it's all about our BHAG. So somebody who, it's for us, if you had an investor, it's not only about the capital. We had investors with capital. So it's more about what value in addition can that investor add to our existence. Is the value on enhancing, let's say, our supply chain? Is it integrating supply chain? Is it on the sales front, market access to new markets? Purely organizational for us would be not a big value add. We are very good at that, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's where we will look at probably, market access or supply chain.
Whom should I be to become a part of your team and earn at least 20,000 dirhams?
Great person. Candid, honest. Your flaws, your weaknesses are candid as well. You're ready to learn.
Yeah.
You're curious. You go by our core values. You have a heightened level of sense of urgency, and you're altruistic. You're about the people, you're about the cause, not about yourself.
Right.
You're not one of those that I say who's trying to keep a job. You're one of those who's trying to do a job with love and passion for what you do.
Right.
They're two different kinds of people.
Right.
When we went to our operations manager a while ago and said, hey, there's a salary increase due for you, X amount of dirhams more.
Yeah.
He said, no, I don't want it. Give it to my team. split it in my team. Everybody was in shock. Say, what? He's passing for the second and third time in a row. He's passing his salary increase downwards to his team, because that's truly when you're aligned with the purpose of this factory, impacting people. He will bypass an increase for himself. He says, I will have enough. Give these guys who make the minimum income a higher income. That's who you should employ. That's alignment.
What do you think? Who is the second most important person in the company? Is it HR or is it financial director?
The two. Actually, when you have a CEO, the HR and the CEO, the CFO or the financial manager should be always the closest to CEO. Because human resources is all about executing strategy if understood properly. Human resources is not staff management, paperwork. Human resources is finding the right talent for the seats that you have designed that you want, and the ongoing also management of the team. But the financial manager, of course, manages your cash and tells you where you can go and what you can do and what not, which products line are profitable, which ones are not, and where you have to watch out, and what your EBITDA stands at, and so on. So these two roles are crucial, I would say. But in OKR standing, in the way OKR methodology works, it's fading away. They're all equally important. They're all equally important because they're also all equally intercepting and doing different jobs at a time. So it's not anymore in the OKR system, it's not a system by which you will be financed and you will do only financial jobs. Yeah. You might do sales jobs, you might be doing HR jobs, you might be doing other. It's more about the function. So this entire hierarchical thinking breaks down in the OKR Scrum methodology that we are applying.
I know that you met with His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed.
Yes.
I saw the pictures in the reception. We will come back there. But I want to ask you, I think it was not for a very long time, right? This meeting that you had with him. Suppose you met His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed for the second time and you had like 5 minutes time break for some discussion. What would you like to tell him, to discuss with him?
I would like to talk about setting up a council for implementing circular economy, preserving local resources and adding more value to the local economy, very specifically. I was fortunate enough, I was invited to meetings that were part of formulating Dubai 2021 agenda. So there was a special council for SME improvement. I was the only one foreign entrepreneur added to that council. Wow. So I've always been an avid supporter of Dubai and developing Dubai and pushing forward and pushing the boundaries and making it better. So circular economy would be, for me today, #1 ranked. A special council that just deals with that.
Let's have a look to the photos.
Good.
Yeah.
Going up?
Yeah, let's go up. When was that? What was it about?
This one was, if I'm not wrong, Dubai SME. 2015 maybe, when we were ranked 15th, I believe, SME 100, the top 100 SME companies in Dubai. So that was the award giving ceremony. That's His Excellency the Minister of Environment over there.
Be careful.
This was actually this year, if I'm not wrong, because this is at Majid Al Futtaim's office. We are part of the closer-knit environmental sustainability community, let's say. And MAF announced in this meeting, the CEO, the zero carbon approach that they have. That was this meeting that was announced. That's what I mentioned, the circular economy that I would love to set up as a community that just makes sure that this topic is discussed and implemented and supported. This one is unfortunately is broken. This was Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum from Emirates, but we had I think 50 candidates here for a job. And it was so overfilled that the frame this week only we had over 100 came in the walk-in, right? Oof. Over 100, and all the ladies you saw there. I mean, did you involved as well? Ruth, Karen, everybody was interviewing and looking and finding people. It was amazing. Like over 100 people gave one job post, and in that, Sheikh Ahmed fell off the wall.
Where was this job?
With all due respect, Sheikh Ahmed, we will put you back up very soon.
Where was this job post? Was it a website?
I don't know where they put there, probably.
They
put all the time, but this was a huge rush.
Huh? Indeed. Yes. All right.
Right. We post all the time. I mean, it has been, right now it has been crazy. As we said last week, we had the record day was 3,000 applicants in 3 hours. 3,000.
What was the position?
You know what? In sales, call center, I think.
There's a lot.
We were looking for call center agent. We were looking for receptionist.
So you are still looking for them?
Yeah.
Okay, subscribers. If you are looking for a sales position, office management, what else?
No. Revise, delete. Keep it on. If you're a great person, you have always a place in this company.
Yes.
If you're a person that adheres to our values, that you're excited with our purpose, saving environment, creating jobs, if you have customer at heart first, if you're a curious personality by nature, you keep asking questions and you're genuine and honest in your approach, this is your home. You can have a home for the next 10, 20, 30 years. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a job, we'll create the job for you.
Amazing. Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
coming.
So appreciative for that.
Yeah.
It was very nice
Good job.
interview. Yeah, thank
Thanks
you.
for coming, guys.
Get the #1 step-by-step guide on how to become your own boss in the UAE. You will learn how to start your own business in the UAE. Just click the link in the description below this video and follow this link. This is your time to start. Click the link below this video. Bam!